Welcome to this month's edition of the Home Cooking Newsletter. I'm Alice.
And I'm Jeannie.
And this month, we are going to mess around with restaurant knockoffs. We are copycats.
Yes, we are.
Yeah. Isn't it fun to be able to take a recipe that you have really fallen in love with when you go out to eat and you want to bring it home and make it yourself?
Yeah.
There's lots of good information on the internet for that now. We have found a doozy. What are we making today, Jeannie?
Well, we're not sure we're going to say this right, but it's Fagioli soup.
Fagioli soup. Now, don't you write in and tell us we said it wrong, because we know we did. But anyway, this is a beautiful, beautiful soup, and the thing we really like about it, we've been talking about this, is how versatile this soup is. Easy to make, and let's talk about the versatility.
Well, it's one of those things that it's basically, you've chopped up some vegetables, you have things in cans and boxes, and you have to brown a little bit of hamburger. But the thing that's great about this is you can put this all in your crock pot. You can put it on low and have it go for 7 to 8 hours. Or if you want to get it faster, you put it on high for 4 to 5 hours. And if you're really in a hurry,
Maybe you thought at the last minute.
Yeah,
even.
the kind of last minute. Then you just go ahead and cook your noodles al dente and brown your hamburger, and then saute your vegetables, put them in a pot, and let them cook for an hour. And there you have it.
Okay.
And you know, this is a great soup to freeze too.
Oh, I like that.
But a little tip.
Yeah.
I don't like mushy noodles.
I don't either.
So I always we're going to not do that today, but I always put the noodles in afterwards, like for the last maybe 15 or 20 minutes.
I do too.
Because that's just what I like. But you know, I can eat it anyway. But that's just a tip.
Well, we made a pot to experiment with, and we've been tasting. We are here to tell you this is going to get your stamp of approval. So, and the other thing we really like about this is there's nothing exotic or weird here. You're going to have most of this stuff in your pantry already. And it's a pretty affordable soup, too. So Jeannie's browning the hamburger, and I'll just start throwing stuff into the crock pot.
Right.
So shall I start with the tomatoes?
Sure.
We've got 2 cans here of diced tomatoes, 14.5-ounce cans. Okay, so just throw them in, a couple of those.
So easy and such a beautiful soup.
You want some beans. And so what we have here is a can of, these are white kidney beans.
Cannoli beans.
Cannoli, little Italian there.
I can't even say English things very well sometimes. So.
No, me either. And then the standby kidney bean. Boy, you can do so much with that bean.
And you know, I like to buy these cans when they go on like 2 for $1 or whatever, you know. Because then they're affordable. Otherwise, I have a hard time paying $1 a can for them.
I agree. Now, we'll probably talk every month about ways to work smarter instead of harder in the kitchen, and something that we talked about last month, we'll talk about it again. Tape a trash bag at the end of your counter here, and then as you're opening your cans, cracking your eggs, creating a bit of trash, you don't have to run back and forth to the garbage can. Put that stuff right here. It's going to save you some time and some energy. You know, if we make it easier to cook, we're more inclined to cook. So there's my commercial for that. All right, then we've got a box of beef-flavored broth, or a couple of cans.
Was that like 32 ounces?
This is 32 ounces.
Yeah.
And you can buy this on sale all the time.
Yeah.
I like to stock up on this. I like to stock up on this when it's on sale during Thanksgiving and the Christmas holidays. All that stuff goes on sale. Okay, now while that's draining out of the box, we've got 1 teaspoon of dried oregano. Toss that in. We've got 2 teaspoons of black ground pepper. Toss that in.
It really needs the pepper too.
I thought that was a lot of pepper, but you were right.
It needs it.
Yeah, it does. So don't be shy about your pepper. And then we've got 2 teaspoons of Italian seasoning, dried herbs there. But you know, if you don't have the Italian seasoning, but you've got the basil and the oregano and all that, just throw some in. In other words, it's really hard to go wrong with this recipe.
Well, soup is like, that's one of the reasons I like soup, is that, you know, you can change it up, you know, and it's still good.
Yeah.
There's not a set in stone thing you have to do with soup.
That is so true.
This is such a pretty soup.
It is gorgeous.
Can't get over how pretty it is.
2 more teaspoons of dried parsley. There we go. Now, throw that in our garbage. Right, now, how about this? This is cool.
Yeah.
This is roasted garlic and herb. Prego makes all kinds of flavors.
You could use any kind you wanted, yeah.
And so we're just going to pour a jar of this in. Now, what size is this? This is the 24-ounce jar.
But, that could vary a little bit. The one thing you might find is that this is a little thicker than you want. So if you have a little extra beef broth or even a vegetable broth or something, you put that in. I had this in the refrigerator, just this extra berry veggie drink. And I used it to thin it a little bit because it was a little thick when I made it for my liking.
That's a great idea, Judy. In fact, I appreciate you bringing up the idea of the vegetable thing. A lot of people are eating more and more meals without meat. And the thing that I noticed when I tasted this was the broth, the flavor is so amazing that you probably could really get away without adding the hamburger, and then you'd have a vegetarian version.
Another fun thing to do would be to use sausage, or maybe even half sausage and half hamburger.
Ooh,
now, I don't know if Olive Garden does that or not, if they use it, but what they use, but hamburger's good. This is a good standby soup.
It is absolutely good. And something that I've talked about in some of my articles when I've written for the weekly HomeCook'n newsletter, the subscription newsletter, is you ought to have hamburger fried up and frozen in your fridge all the time. I call it hamburger grabble. So then you could even save some time with that step. When it comes time to make the soup, you go to the freezer, grab a couple cups, and just throw it in.
You could totally do that with this stuff too.
I think so. Now let's add these veggies. How much, do you remember?
This was just an onion. It was kind of a medium onion. This is 3 carrots.
Okay.
And 4 stalks of celery.
Okay.
So that's easy.
Yeah.
If you don't like celery, don't put celery in there.
And you also can
put a zucchini
chop it
in
up.
there.
You could, and you can chop it up finer. I would even add a little cauliflower, maybe a little broccoli. You can kind of go crazy with this. And hey, by the way, too, if you are in a big hurry and you are chopping your vegetables, you can do them in a blender. You get your blender, fill it with some water, throw in your veggies, and just pulse it a few times, and now you've got chopped vegetables. So that'll save you some time. And you're adding some hot sauce?
Yeah, it just gives it just a little pop.
Little pop. Cholula.
It's optional.
Tabasco.
Anything like that. And just a half a teaspoon. You might want more or less. Or none.
Okay. So see how easy this is? And Jeannie's got the hamburger ready.
I didn't drain it though. You
drain it? Well, you can take a minute and drain that quick enough. And while she's doing that, let's talk about tools. The master's only as good as his tools. And so it really was going to be worth your while to go through your kitchen and look for tools that are broken or just really aren't working up to snuff and get rid of them. It only costs a few dollars to replace a ratty-tatty pot holder. These rubber spatulas, after a while, they start to melt or they get ragged and jagged, and what do? We cut them. We cut them around the edge. Well, after a while, you're not going to have much spatula left, so
we're just going to put this
get
hamburger
some more
in.
spatula, or get a new spatula.
I hope if I turn this.
Okay. Can you see that there? Okay, that's a lot of hamburger, but boy does that beef it up. Ha, pardon the pun. Okay, so there we go with that. All right. I'm still talking tools, Jeannie.
Okay.
I want to show you something. Jeannie's husband is a woodworker and it's his hobby, and he makes these beautiful paddles and spatulas. Well, if you don't have a hubby that does it, then go to the store and buy yourself some nice tools.
What I like, Alice, is, and this is something we always do when we're doing multiple recipes, is we get the little ramekins and measure things out. And this is really good when you're teaching children how to cook.
Yeah.
And stuff,
Pre-measure.
because you're not going to make a mistake.
That's right.
And then you can have it out. You can put everything away.
Yeah.
So.
Ooh, I love that. And these are maybe $1.25 at Target or Walmart or something. So they're affordable.
And you can get bigger ones too.
Now we know we're talking to a lot of foodies out there. You like cooking, so chances are you already have really top quality.
I can tell this needs more juice already.
You probably already have top quality equipment, but just keep it in mind. Things wear out, continually upgrade. It's time to add our noodles.
Well,
these are the...
Actually, we don't actually put these noodles in until a little bit before time, but you can. If you're in a hurry, you can.
That's true.
So do you want me to do it or later? Just dump them in this time?
Let's just dump it in. And these are the spirally things that are
Rotini?
called rotini.
Rotini?
Yeah, so there we go.
But you can use whatever you want. You could, if you have macaroni even, you can use macaroni.
Penny pasta.
Any of it. This is such a beautiful soup.
Yep, it is beautiful. You know
I'm
what?
gonna plate this.
It's time to serve some of this up and give it a try. This looks good enough to eat.
It is. It is such a beautiful soup even before you cook it.
Yeah.
But we plated it up, and let's have a taste.
We'll be your testers, you folks at home.
Oh yeah.
Oh wow.
That's what I'm talking about.
Oh my goodness sakes. Oh yeah.
Who enjoys food more than we do?
I know. You got the right people talking to you here. Hey, you know what else would be really good with this?
What?
I think we ought to do the old Olive Garden thing and grind the cheese over it too.
Oh, you could. You could.
Yeah.
In fact, there's a lot of knockoff recipes for the Olive Garden dressing.
Ooh.
And you could serve a nice salad with this, and some nice breadsticks like we've got here.
In fact, we've got a basket of breadsticks.
Rolls.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because we're kind of dunkers at our house in our soup.
And
I'm a dunker.
And we do make our own breadsticks too. We wrap them around dowel sticks and just fiddle around with bread dough. So, what the heck? Food is meant to be not only eaten and enjoyed, but to have fun with as well. It's such a great legacy to leave our family. Well, there you go. We hope that if you've got ideas or tips, suggestions, you'll leave them at the bottom. Leave some comments. We want to hear from you. We'd love to share what's going on with you in your kitchen as well. Have fun with restaurant knockoffs, folks. And until next time, let's keep cooking.
Let's keep cooking. We love it.
Let's have some more of this.